Welcome to a total legit guide for Kazuha, the best goddamn character in the whole game. I will fucking fight anyone over this. I'm not biased, by the way. Kazuha is the anima boy that lost his friend. Wait, what about Zhao? Well, yeah, I guess him too. And Wanderer. Okay, fine. And Venti. Okay, fine. I get it, alright? Why don't you come over here and run the show instead? No? Figured. Kazuha is that one guy that just showed up one day and no one knew what he was about, then suddenly everyone just likes him for some reason. Reminds me of someone, I'm not sure why, it's just something about him, it might just be me though. Kazuha is an anima support that specializes in one thing and one thing only, giving you the big damage with the big numbers. God, that feels good. Yeah, fuck yeah, that's that good stuff. This guy has only one problem. You get so used to being able to double jump that now not only do you just feel weird without him in your team, but also, am I the only one that has a weird urge to just jump off cliffs? I'm not saying I'm suicidal or depressed, it just so happens that Kazuha makes you just want to do it. Maybe it's the urge to rejoin his friend. Kazuha's job is to group all the enemies to one spot, then hit the trip button, and then enjoy what is essentially an acid trip in Genshin. Being a wandering samurai sure fits this game, considering that there really isn't anything else to do besides wander around the map. I'm even playing this game. I'm going to butcher all of his abilities, so let's get to it. Kazuha's basic attacks are Garyu Blade Work, I think. Kazuha just attacks with his sword, like 5 times. Since Kazuha is not a DPS unit, his basic attacks are kinda meh, and there isn't much that you can do with them unless you have him at C6. But since that's very uncommon, no one fucks gives about this. They're not important and they're not useful. Moving on. His E is Chihayaburu. Nailed it. I'm like 90% sure that I butchered that name. Kazuha jumps into the air, dealing anemo damage and lifting any enemies surrounding him, plus pulling anything around him towards himself. After the jump, you can do a plunge attack that will create a pull zone and draw all the enemies to it. This ability can be used mid-air, which essentially allows you to double jump. Shoutouts to Sir Isaac Newton for inventing gravity, so we can use this ability to go against it. This ability is Kazuha's way to group enemies, and at the same time a way for you to apply whichever element you want on all the enemies around you. It's a really strong ability since it gives Kazuha consistency in his kit. No matter what, you can always make sure that you are applying the element that you want and that all the enemies are grouped in the same place. You can also use it like this by attempting to high-five God. His ult is Kazuha Slash.
Kazuha Slash, go!
Kazuha slashes the enemies in front of him, dealing AoE anemo damage, and then creating a whirlwind that will deal anemo damage for a while. Additionally, whichever element the slash touched will then be applied to the whirlwind, which will then make it look cool, but also swirl that element on every instance, which will continuously apply it for the duration of the ult, plus it also buffs that element's damage. Damn, that was a bit confusing. This ability is just insane. You use it after grouping all the enemies and then applying whichever element you want to swirl, and then you just go as everything dies around you. The fact that it not only works as a sub DPS ability because it constantly applies the element, but also buffs it, makes Kazuha the most versatile support in the game, and the strongest one too. Elemental reactions are the meta way to deal damage in this game, which means that Kazuha just buffs whatever is already meta into the fucking, I don't know, super meta. Well, this fucking sucks. We're not even done. The fact that Kazuha is an animal user plays really hard into his kit, and as to why he's so strong, because he also uses the Verdescent Vernier. So now not only do you buff your elemental damage, but you also shred 40% of the enemy's resistance to elemental damage. This is just so much fucking damage. It's just so much. Sometimes you don't even need a DPS, Kazuha will just end up killing them on his own. Shoutouts to William Thompson for inventing kinetic energy so that we can use it to kill people in video games. Anyways, can you just hold on to this for me? We'll need that later for the next section. Alright, thanks. Now we get to his passives. His first passive is Summon Swordsmanship. When your skill touches an element, it will absorb it, which will then be applied to all the enemies hit by it, and will also deal bonus damage on the plunge based on your attack. It makes your E more consistent and adds more damage. It's cool. Cloud Strider makes your entire party consume 20% less stamina while sprinting. Pretty good for exploration, and considering that Kazuha is already pretty good for exploration, it's really nice. And finally, Poetics of Fubutsu. When you trigger a swirl, Kazuha gives his entire party 0.4% elemental damage bonus. That bonus goes to the swirled element, and it's based on his elemental mastery. This is a huge buff that takes everything that Kazuha does already and just empowers it. It also means that you want to get as much elemental mastery on him as possible. Alright, thanks for holding on to this segue for me. We can use it to move on to the next segment. Get it? Get it's a because it's a segue. I'm a fucking comical genius. In order to play Kazuha, you first need a team that focuses on elemental reactions. Now choose whichever element you want to buff and apply it to the enemy. Then use your skill to group the enemies and apply the element. After that you ult, and if anything is still alive, just pop to your DPS and kill everything inside. There is really no elemental cup that Kazuha doesn't fit into. He can even fit into some Dendra teams. Just experiment and see what you like. While a lot of people compare him to Venti, I prefer Kazuha since he can be used in more team comps and also buff his teammates, while Venti is kind of, well...
Oh, Traveler! Yes, what a gliding me fast there! Bonjour, you fucking ass!
As for the builds, you mostly just want the Viridescent set, because it's his best one. You can use other things like Noblesse or Emblem, but you mostly just want Viridescent. As for the stats on it, you want as much elemental mastery as you can possibly get. Like Kazuha just scales on it extremely well. If you have a team that doesn't have energy recharge, you can swap out the sands for energy recharge, but it's best to have a team that has a lot of energy recharge already and then just have him with full elemental mastery. As for weapons, if you have Freedom Sworn, that's his best weapon, it's his signature weapon, so use that if you have it. If you don't, you can use either Zypho's Moonlight, Favonia's Sword if you need energy recharge, or the best one that is a 4-star is Iron Sting. If you have Zypho's Moonlight, it doesn't do as much damage, it mostly gives you more energy recharge, but if you want to get as much damage out of Kazuha as possible without the Freedom Sworn, then go for Iron Sting. Yeah, alright, I think that's it. Oh my fucking god, every fucking build in this game needs like a whole fucking minute of explanation.
I hate myself. Oh, I hate myself.
Kazuha is the best anima support in the game. He's so versatile and so strong that you almost don't need any other anima support. But since the Abyss needs 2 teams, his 4-star version, Sucrose, can also be used. If you have a chance, I highly recommend pulling for him, since he's not only strong right now, but also probably one of the most future-proof characters in the game. Like, there is no way to make someone better than Kazuha, except for making someone so overloaded that the game just fucking explodes. He's so fun to play and it just makes you feel like...
I don't want peace. I want problems, always!